F1 Academy went qualifying just a little bit earlier on today, and we saw a lot of action from these young girls. Leah Block went spinning down at turn 8, and it was absolutely treacherous in these wet conditions. They all started on the dry tyres, went onto the wet tyres. Some of them did a few laps, but in the end it was Chloe Chambers that did the fastest time that put her on pole in the number 14 Red Bull Ford. F1 Academy are here this weekend for round number 3 of the F1 Academy season. Round 3, race 1 here around the Hard Rock Stadium. Race 1 for these girls, and they had 2 practice sessions here this weekend. Round 3, and this first race, 13 laps. 5.412 kilometres, 3.3 miles. 3.5 metres in elevation, 3 metres of elevation around this circuit. 19 turns, and we have already a track lap record. 19 corners, and the run down into turn 1 is the most critical one you could possibly get. But the problem is that it's dry. It is bone dry out there, and we just had the F1 sprint out there, and we've had a bit more sun since that happened, and now it's absolutely bone dry, and there's no sight of really much rain here in this one. But you can see there Rafaela Ferreira, who started the top 8 reverse grid, but my folks, she starts P10 in this one. It's going to be a tough race in both races for Maya Vug. She's got a bit of a struggle on her hands for this one. But there's going to be some interesting races going along here. Dorian Pan starts 5th in this one. Watch out for Dorian Pan in this one. Let's take a look at the starting grid. Ava starts P17. Two Ava start at the back of the grid. Geraint Jaconte starts P16 alongside Nicole Havrada. Chloe Chong starts P14, and P13 is Nina Gaidman in the number 3 Alpine Academy car. Alba Larson in P12 and Courtney Crone in P11 in the Haas Academy car. Maya Vog in P10 and Tina Hausman in P9, the number 64 and number 78. Maya Vog was very disappointed with her qualifying position. Chloe Chambers and Alicia Palmoski. Chloe Chambers, she was all right with that, but she starts on pole. Dorian Pan starts P6. I thought it was P5. Ella Lloyd, P5 in this one. They are Block, P4. Happy with that. Aurelia Nobles, P3. She done quite well to get that opening banker in qualifying. She was quite happy with that. Rafaela Ferreira, P2. And Emma Felbermeyer on pole position here today. We are around about 3 minutes away from the formation lap and getting underway here. Now, there are a few little spits and spats of rain around, and the track is bone dry. So the track is bone dry in this one. We're going to get a race and a half. Aurelia Nobles in the Puma 22 car. She has a good chance to score some good points in this race as the crowd continue to flock in here to the sprint, and Lando Norris taking that well-awarded win. Of course, I'm going to be streaming that in around about a couple hours' time from about 1:30 this afternoon. But there's a bit of a problem there with one of the MP Motorsport cars. Maybe that looks to be inside the cockpit of the MP Motorsport car. Hopefully there's no mechanical drama there, because we don't want to see safety cars in this one. We want a flat-out race to the line. And the information lap underway here, and this race is important for Maya Vug. She's going to be starting P10 in both races. She was 6/10 off P8 in qualifying. 7/10 off P8. She was unhappy. I can tell you that much. I heard Abby Pulling talk about it in the Sky Sports coverage. She was saying it depends on where you are in the pit lane and where your crew sets up in the pit lane. It just turns out that she was in the traffic of everybody else, according to Abby Pulling. So, of course, Abby Pulling's up in the commentary box, doing F1 Academy commentary here this weekend. So she's got a lot of pressure. Well, she hasn't actually got a lot of pressure on her, but she's got commentary to do in F1 Academy, which is cool to see. That's one cool thing to see for her. Of course, she's driving in, I think it's GM3 this year. So I think it's some GT cars after winning the F1 Academy Championship last season. She did pretty well at that, and she won it by just a couple points last season. On board here on screen with Rafaela Ferreira, she's P2 in this one. She was very happy with her performance in qualifying. I mean, P7 for this one. Of course, Emma Felbermeyer, her first pole position. Even though it's just her first grid, it's always good to see some brand new rookies on pole. Chloe Chambers will be on pole for race 2. And Diane Pan will be in P3. Maya Vuk will be P10. Maya Vuk has to score points in this race to keep her championship hopes alive. But she does lead the championship at the moment by 11 points, which is a good buffer. She leads it by 10 or 11 points, which is a good buffer for her. But Emma Feldmeyer will be quite happy with that. But Chloe Chambers could get back into this if she has to get a good start. So along with Maya Vug. The car's rolling back around to the grid here as we get ready for this race start. The car's rolling back around to the grid. The most important start of her life for Maya Vug in the Ferrari, in the MP Motorsport Academy car for Maya Vug with Ferrari livery on that car. She has to do Ferrari proud, and especially MP Motorsport proud, because P10 is not going to be good enough. You can see there, the track is already up in terms of its track temperature, but of course we had wet qualifying, and now we're going to be racing for Formula 1 Academy. This is a problem. There's a car coming into the pit lane. That's Alba Larson in P12 into the pit lane. That is never good, and it's not a good sight at all for Alba Larson, even though she probably would have wanted to start in P12 and try and get a good race, but she's starting in the pit lane. She's decided to, so that might be something that race control have to look at. Here we go. It's about to be a lights out, and away we go here. The green flag waves at the back of the grid. 3, 4, 5 red lights, and we head lights out, and away we go. F1 Academy is go here at Miami, as it's a beautiful start from Emma Felbermeyer as she goes down to turn 1. Big contact with Bianca Buster. No, that's not. That's Ella Lloyd. Ella Lloyd, big contact, and she's off the road. She's off the road in a big way. She had contact with the left rear wheel of another car. I'm thinking that was one of the... I think that was maybe... I'm not sure who that was, but she made in contact with someone. Good start from Diane Pan. Maya Vug on screen now with Maya Vug as she makes her run up into turn 8. Out of turn 8 and into turn 9. You make your long run up through the fast part of the section of track. Yellow flag in sector 1. Hopefully we can stay green. Emma Felbermeyer. What a start from Diane Pan as she gets off the line, and it's a safety car. How disappointing. Safety car here for F1 Academy. And Diane Pan's going to have to be careful here because she's still side by side with Emma Felbermeyer. And luckily she now sees the safety car balls and flags. But hopefully that's a quick recovery for Ella Lloyd. She was really quick in qualifying. Really quick in FP1 and FP2, but she's bottled it here in the race. Lap 1 of 13. Here at Miami. And we've got a safety car from Ella Lloyd. So the start was really good here for Emma Felbermeyer. She got away perfectly in the kit car. You see, she was covering her line as she went into turn 1. And this is what happened. Big lockup. Big lockup. A big contact with Ella Lloyd. It was with one of the Racing Bull Academy cars. Not sure who that was. See the two off the front. Alicia Palmosky. Feldmeyer covered Palmosky. Ella Lloyd ran into Palmosky. And then Lloyd got her front wing stuck up in a wheel. So that's why she couldn't move. On board with Leah Block back in P4. She's got a real good side of this. Watch this as she lock up. Leah Block was so lucky not to have a bigger... could have been a much bigger crash than what it seemed to be. But that was really close. On board here with Aurelia Nobles of what exactly happened. So Nobles actually got caught up in this. You see there, Feldmeyer covered off Palmosky. Lloyd locked up, ran into the back of Palmosky. And Palmosky ended up losing down to like P6. Chloe Chambers on board, our pole sitter in qualifying. Of course, reverse grid. This is what happened. So you can see there, the two leaders covering off each other. And then Ella Lloyd looked up the inside. And that was just too aggressive from Ella Lloyd. She just ended up overshooting it. And now Chloe Chambers is up into P4 for this race. But what a shame for Ella Lloyd, who was in such a good position in this race. We're on the safety car here today at Miami. And Ella Lloyd is out of this race quite early on. And we're going to get a good race here because the marshals are doing an amazing job at retrieving the Ella Lloyd car. But Road and Motorsport won't be happy with that. So Emma Feldmeyer and what looks to be Palmosky came together. They were covering each other off. Ella Lloyd looked up the inside. Didn't end up working. And Ella Lloyd locked up. Ran into the back of what looked to be Palmosky. And Palmosky might have a bit of rear damage on that car. So that's exactly what has happened in this one. But Chloe Chambers, our pole sitter for the reverse grid, is pole sitter for race 2, is up into P4. This is important. Where's Maya Vug in all this? So turn 1 incident involving cars 20 and 18. Ella Lloyd and Feldmeyer are under investigation for this. But this is good. We've got safety car ending. This is always good to see. I mean, you know, we want action here in support races. Of course, we did have, just before Porsches, they got a full race. Sadly, F1 Academy got a safety car here. But Diane Pan, P6. She's now P2. She started P6. She's now P2. This is good points. If Diane Pan can take this race win, of course, it is not full points. It is sprint-like points here. So 10 points for the race win for Feldmeyer. It's unlike the sprint for the Formula 1 race. It's 10 points for Feldmeyer if she wins this race. 9 points for Pin as we get back to green flag. And it's a good start from Feldmeyer. I think she caught Diane Pan lacking a little bit. That margin's already pulled out to 4/10. And safety cars called safety cars. And look at this. It's up the inside for one of the Alpine Academy cars. What looked to be Gateman on Houseman. But luckily, Gateman had to back out of it because she would have ended up with suspension damage if she didn't into turn 1. Someone would have ended up spinning. As these girls get off to a beautiful start off the safety car. Emma Feldmeyer leads this race by less than half a second. That was really important for her to get a good start. Aurelia Nobles struggling at this point to hold on to Diane Pan. If she can, then it'll be a good fight for first, second, and third. But so far, it's a good start from everybody up the front of the pack. Lap 3 of 13. They all run down the back straight and make their one into turn 14. This is quite important. Turn 13 up here. Pan pulls out. Pan pulls out. And there you go. Houseman was able to get past. And Block also passes Courtney Crone. It's a bit of action down here at the back. That is with Leah Block, who's dropped a few spots. She's actually dropped from 10th to 12th. So that's big here. Where is Maya Vug in all this? She's up in P6. So P6 for Maya Vug. It's good points for a championship. Diane Pan, she's got the slipstream of Emma Feldmeyer. Will she pull out and try and pull a pass on Emma Feldmeyer as she runs up down into the braking zone? We've seen a lot of cars in qualifying and practice lock up down here. She can't overshoot a braking marker. She pulls out Diane Pan, and she will take the lead of the F1 Academy Race 1 reverse grid. Diane Pan pulls out. She takes the pass, but now Felbermeyer is open to Nobles, who might make a pass on Felbermeyer now. She doesn't seem to have the pace here, Felbermeyer, with 10 laps to go. Yeah, this is good to see. Felbermeyer up the inside on Diane Pan. She tried to cover. She knew if she moved over anymore, she would have made contact. They still run side by side, and Diane Pan had to back out there. So good reaction there from Felbermeyer. She didn't overcook it, and she didn't lock up those front tyres, which is really important. As Chloe Chambers looks down the inside, she had pole, and she will grab the position on Palmosky. Chambers has a lot of pace here, but you got to remember, you only have a certain amount of tyres. Now, you would have probably saved a set from qualifying, so you have 3 sets. You normally only have 2 sets for the race, so you have an extra set for this race. So this is important. You've got to save your tyres as well. Who goes on to old tyres? Who goes on to new tyres? Who saves their tyres for race 2? Who has the better rubber at the back end of the race? You can see here, Palmosky looking back on a dive for Chambers. Palmosky looks around the outside. You can see Chambers gets out in the dirty stuff, but able to cover Chambers. Palmosky around the outside. And that's a good cover off there from Palmosky. She leaves Chambers now vulnerable to Maya Vug in behind, who's just ever so quietly crept up in behind. This is big for F1 Academy. Felbermeyer, followed by Pin, Diane Pan, Nobles, Palmosky, Chambers, and Maya Vug. They're all in this battle. And then closer behind is Tina Hausman. If they keep fighting anymore, it'll turn into a 10-way battle pack with Courtney Crone back in P10. Palmosky, be clever, use slipstream. So Palmosky, they're using the slipstream of Aurelia Nobles, trying to get Aurelia Nobles. See there, Felbermeyer covered on the inside. It's a 6-way battle pack. This is epic. This is epic. The top 6 are separated by less than 2 seconds. That's epic. That's always good to see. See here, Diane Pan, she's going to use the slipstream, but she's got to be careful that she doesn't overcook her front tyres as well. Look at this. Around the outside for Diane Pan. She just locked up a little bit. Felbermeyer locked up. It's an opportunity for Diane Pan. She runs side by side into turn 3. Side by side it is. Diane Pan looks around the outside. She's got the move done. But now she's vulnerable to Aurelia Nobles. It's side by side. It's 2 by 2 as they run down. And look at that. Aurelia Nobles that takes that spot off of Felbermeyer. And after that lockup, Felbermeyer drops down to P4. She's now vulnerable to Chambers. So 2 pole sitters battling. Chambers up the inside. Felbermeyer still running side by side out of the corner. She's struggling for grip now, as those tyres might have a mark on them. They're going to run side by side. Maya Vug now is in this. They're 3 wide as they head up into the braking zone of turn 13. Remember, it's still a few hundred metres away, so Chambers might be able to outbrake. They're 3 wide. Felbermeyer covered off Vug. Vug can't do anything about it. And now, 3 wide still. Felbermeyer. Can she cover this off? Meanwhile, Tina Hausman now comes into this. And look at the amount of spots Felbermeyer's lost. She's lost out to Chambers, Palmosky, Nobles, Pin. She's lost out to practically all of them. And now she's open to Hausman as well, who is also open to Nina Gaidman. So it's turning in. The top 10 are separated. The top 9 are separated by less than... the top 3 is separated by less than a second. Wow. Emma Felbermeyer dropped from 1st to 6th in less than a lap. And that's what happens. Turn 1, lock-up can lead to a absolute devastation for Emma Felbermeyer. She's down to P6, but now Diane Pan is being pressured by Aurelia Nobles, Palmosky, Chambers, Vug down in P5, Emma Felbermeyer, Tina Hausman. Black and white flag for Felbermeyer. More than 1 change of direction. So apparently blocking has gone on here for Felbermeyer just then. As you can see here, this is a battle for what looks to be for a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Here's Diane Pan. So look here. More than 1 change of direction. So this is the replay. So what happened here? Felbermeyer, side by side. She actually ended up locking up. Diane Pan, she was able to actually scoop the position up. And meanwhile, Diane Pan has no idea what's going on behind her. She dropped about 5 spots, Emma Felbermeyer. She'll be upset with that. she definitely won't be happy. There, so the top three are separated by less than a second, but meanwhile Diane Pan, she's pulling away now. She's using the rubber that she's got available on those tyres that's still left, the grip that is available on those tyres. Palmowski under pressure by Nobles. Does Nobles fall under pressure? She can't lock up down here because she knows what happens to she knows what happened to Feldmeyer, and meanwhile Palmowski just moves it around the outside. But remember, these two, they can't fight. They don't want to lose Diane Pan here in this battle. Diane Pan probably wants to lose them. Palmowski had a bit of contact with Nobles there. Nobles got a bit off-settled, and Alicia Palmowski gains the advantage out of it up into P2. 1.5 seconds that margin now back to Palmowski from Diane Pan. So Diane Pan running away here. 1.4 seconds. Palmowski's going to have to use a bit of pace that she has available to try and catch up to Diane Pan and bring her back into this battle. Epic racing so far. Lap 6 of 13. So Race Control have now noted that incident between car 25 and 13, I think it was. It just popped up on our screens. So they've ended up noting that there on lap 6 of 13, and it's already erupting. 1.2 seconds. The margin's closed from 1.7 to 1.2. Palmowski showing a bit of pace with the grip she has left in that tyre. Probably won't be much, but it will definitely be enough. Ella Lloyd is the only person that's DNF so far. It's running through your top 10. Diane Pan, Palmowski, Nobles, Chambers, Vug, Felbermeyer, Hausman, Block, and Ferreira down in P10. So our pole sitter for race 2, Chloe Chambers, is up in P4. This is looking good for Chloe Chambers at this point in time. Yeah, this has been an epic battle so far in race 1 for F1 Academy. We're going to get plenty more action. Emma Felbermeyer over the radio. The black and white warning flag was for weaving. So apparently Felbermeyer was weaving on the safety car. So that might be a problem for Emma Felbermeyer. But this margin closing between Chloe Chambers and Maya Vug. So Vug putting pressure on Chloe Chambers. There's a bit of a battle back here. That is only a block up the inside of Gaidman. But Gaidman tries to hold on to it. She doesn't. Car spun down there at Sector 2. This is a problem. And Jaconte and Chong have made a bit of contact. And luckily, yes. So, oh no. That car might not move. Jaconte's got rear suspension damage. Oh my God, 3 wide. And they all know that that's not going to end well. Charlotte Tilbury entry on Chloe Chong has... Courtney Crone has just got caught up in that. Chloe Chong was able to make it out alive just by the skin of her teeth. But rear suspension damage for the MP Motorsport car. Now that's in a dangerous position. That will need to be retrieved. And so it has. Safety car. 2 safety cars in this race. Here we might go time certain, depending. But of course we don't have. We've done the Porsches, so the Porsches are done. So we shouldn't go time certain at this point. We have plenty of time between qualifying and F1 from F1 Academy to qualifying, so we should have plenty of time in time certain here. But this is going to be really good for these girls. It's 1 second that margin. So that will be good for Palmowski now. She can probably battle Diane Pan, but Diane Pan, our new race leader, here lap 8 of 13. So we are on a safety car here at Miami, and it is because of Jaconte and Chloe Chong that have made contact. Charlotte Tilbury entry has actually had contact. Right front suspension damage, minor though. And Chong saying, have you got a puncture? No, but the steering is sideways and the wheels aren't straight. So steering damage for Chloe Chong. She is out of this race. Here, lap 8 of 13. Now, that margin before the safety car was 1.3 seconds. 1.2 seconds. It's now dropped back to the normal part there. 5-second time penalty for Jaconte for causing an incident. Black and orange flag for car 5. So the meatball flag, as we call it in America, car 5, Felbermeyer. So that might be maybe a drive-through penalty for Felbermeyer. But that's really disappointing for young Felbermeyer, who was really quick in this race. But now, sadly, she's got meatball flag, and that's why. So there's a bit of part hanging off that car. And it's actually just gotten looser and looser, which is a bit of a risk especially when you're racing around out there. Black and orange flag, the meatball flag for Emma Felbermeyer. Here as this race continues under safety car here in F1 Academy. Lap 8 of 13. Here we have got a race under our hand, and there's Emma Felbermeyer into the pit lane. Turn 11 incident involving cars 25 and 27 have been noted. So Chloe Chong and Conte have been noted. Chloe Chong has DNF'd out of this race. She's done. Emma Felbermeyer's in the pits. She is going to get that front damage repaired, but that is her race over for today. Sad to see, because Felbermeyer, she was on pole and now she's out of contention in this race. But it's going to be interesting for the last 4 or 5 laps of this race. Lap 9 of 13. We're under safety car conditions. This is going to be really good. Diane Pan and Pal Mosky have got this race under control. But it's going to be interesting. Pal Mosky and Pin are going to have a good battle here. So the safety car should be in next lap, if anything. But Joran Conte, such disappointment. They went 3 wide into turn 14, and we all know how bad turn 14 can be when you run 3 wide. And we saw that in Formula 1. But this is practically what happened to Fernando Alonso in Formula 1, but except it was just a bit different of a circumstance, except Fernando Alonso ended up on the left-hand side wall and with a lot more damage. But Joran Conte, that's such disappointment. Suspension damage for her. She's so disappointed. And she was in a good battle as well, but it just ended up 3 wide. There's Chloe Chong and the Charlotte Tilbury injury. Can't do much about that, as she probably is saying to her engineer right now. Just debriefing as well. And then she'll probably watch all the rest of the race and maybe go grab a cup of coffee or something. I don't know. Grab some lunch. And enjoy qualifying for Formula 1. And then, of course, back out tomorrow for race 2 and try and back that performance back up. We're on the safety car, and we are on the safety car here, and the safety car should be in this lap or next lap. There you go, safety car ending. Let's go. Let's flip and go. Safety car is in this lap. Diane Pan backs the field right up. This is going to be good. What she needs to do here is she needs to try and pull a margin on Diane Pan and Pal Mosky, who are... She needs to pull a margin on Pal Mosky and Nobles, because she knows she'll be licked to the very end of this race, because she pulled the margin. She might have used too much of a grip out of the Pirelli tyres to pull away again, but we'll see. Diane Pan, she chooses when she can go, and she goes. Good job. She's gone. And that margin now pulled half a second on Pal Mosky, probably even more. She caught them by surprise, and Diane Pan leads us away here. Green flag once again for F1 Academy, and it is half a second that margin as they pull up into turn 1, turn in the car, and it's a good start so far from Diane Pan. And Nobles in behind Pal Mosky, and in behind Nobles is Chambers. So the field bunched up once again. This is really good racing. Emma Felbermeyer, meanwhile, down inside of Enna, down in P15. She's just moved up to P14. So I'll keep track of Emma Felbermeyer and her progress of this race and see if she can try and score at least a point or 2. With 3 laps to go, might be a thing. Diane kept changing speeds. They are almost brake testing me multiple times. So Diane Pan might be in a bit of trouble here, because Pal Mosky's just reported that. Apparently brake checking Pal Mosky heading into the final corner. This is going to be a bit of a problem. There we go. There's a car side by side. A few cars actually side by side. Chloe Chambers pulling out. Look who's on attack. Look who's on the attack. It's Chambers. She's going to look around the outside. This never ends well. And somehow it does end well. Chambers, she kept it around the outside. And Nobles grabs the position. Meanwhile, my Fog is back there. She might even grab Nobles. Chambers up onto the podium position. She's moved up 5 spots here, Chambers. This is a beautiful performance from her. She's moved up 5 spots. And now she's going to try and chase after Palmosky, who's half a second up the road. Half a second up the road is most likely an understatement. Chambers, she's got pace and she might have saved a bit of grip to try and battle Palmosky. But this is a really good drive from Chloe Chambers. Myvug pulls an attack on Nobles. Nobles covers heading into turn 17. Yeah, good covering there from Nobles. Car side by side with, I think that's Courtney Crone and Larson. Side by side back down there at turn 17. But it's a good race so far. So far, Palmosky has not pulled a dive on Alicia. So far, Alicia has not pulled a dive on Diane Pin. So far, meanwhile, my Vogue is trying to pull a dive on Aurelia Nobles, but I don't think it's going to work yet because she's just sort of struggling to try and find that move on the car in front of her here, my Vogue. She might be overcooking her front tyres a little bit because the engine is just right under. You're sitting right under the engine of the car in front of you, and you overcook your front tyres, so you don't want to do that. My Vogue is about half a second a lap faster than what Nobles is. So Nobles is starting to run out of grip in those tyres there. She's hurting a little bit. And that's what happens when you sit in front of the car, in front of you too much. It hurts you. It hurts you really bad. My Vogue, she's got now a run on Aurelia Nobles. This is for P4 on the road for my Vogue. But it's P10 for next race, which is not good. My Vogue, crisscross, back down to the inside. And my Vogue, beautifully done. She absolutely bamboozled. And look at that. That looks to be Leah. That's Block and Hausman having a bit of a battle. And you can see there that is also Nina Gaidman in behind. She's probably going to grab now Tina Hausman as well. Now what Gaidman can do here, she could probably try and get a good run on Hausman and then pull her up the inside, get the slipstream. She's using the slipstream. It's a good idea. Slipstream is being used here by Nina Gaidman and Tina Hausman. Yeah, so it's a bit of a slipstream train here. You can see there my Vogue trying to break the slipstream to Aurelia Nobles. Aurelia Nobles! Nobles blocks up. Big lock up from Nobles. Big lock up, but she was able to keep it on the road. That was really lucky. But now that margin's been dropped by, well, nearly 1.5 seconds to the car in front. That's big. Vogue does not have a slipstream to the car in front. This is big. She covers. And that's a good job. Felbermeyer's passed. And she's up into P12 now. 2 spots off the points. Here's how my Vogue got this job done. So she looked to the outside and then back to the inside. That's perfect. Wow. I was expecting her to sit in behind, but she ended up doing the crisscross, and the move is done for my Vogue. And everybody's playing aggressive here in F1 Academy. And this is what happened to Leah Block and Tina Hausman. It's practically, yeah, there you go. Aurelia Nobles locked up. That front left, it'll have a mark on it now. She'll be struggling for loads more grip in the front end. But you can see there, my Vogue pulled away by nearly half a second now. Feldmeyer up into 11th. She has pace. Lap 12 of 13. Diane Pan has now pulled away. This is Leah Block pulling out on Aurelia Nobles. Here, Alba Larson. So this is a really good drive here from especially Felbermeyer. But there's a bit of a battle going on here between Leah Block and Aurelia Nobles. Nobles is struggling. Meanwhile, Block was able to get by Aurelia Nobles, which is big for this race. Big indeed. So Aurelia Nobles, and there's a car pulling out. That looks to be Emma Felbermeyer back there, pulling out on what looks to be Courtney Crone. This is big for, that's Alba Larson pulling out on Felbermeyer. So Felbermeyer might have used too much of her tyres. And it's the final lap now. Diane Pan starts the final lap. Felbermeyer was able to keep the position on Larson. So Larson wasn't able to get by Felbermeyer. But we'll just see here what this battle brings between Dorian Pan and Palmosky. And if this actually comes of anything. Because at the moment, between the two, it's separated by half a second. I think Pin just has too much pace over Palmosky here. And then Chloe Chambers, who's also got more pace. She's using every bit of road here, Alicia Palmosky. She's actually closed that margin. This is going to be a good battle to the line between Dorian Pan and Palmosky. Nobles repassed Block just then. So Block was able to... Nobles was able to retake that position on Block. But turn 12, incident between Block... Felbermeyer! Felbermeyer's dropping down the field. That's big. Felbermeyer has just been spun whilst we were just talking. There. So Palmosky is pressurizing Dorian Pan. Block was able to re-grab Nobles. But we're focused so much here on this battle, first and second, to see if Alicia can actually do anything to pressure Dorian Pan. This is big. This is now the last opportunity she can make of it is down here at the front, down here at the penultimate corner. Can she get the slipstream? She does have the slipstream. She does. But I don't think it's powerful enough. She's just pulling her in. I don't think it's enough. It's going to be 237 kilometers an hour. It's not going to be enough. The penultimate corner for Dorian Pan. And Dorian Pan crosses the line. She will win F1 Academy Race 1 there. And Chloe Chambers in P3. Pulling from P8 to P3. Not a bad job from her. But that is beautifully done. And Dorian Pan will take the win here in F1 Academy Race 1. So Palmosky wasn't able to put enough pressure there in the end. Lap 13 of 13 laps. And it just wasn't enough for Palmosky. But she ended up not enough pressure there. And Dorian Pan was able to hold on to that. But good win there. And raving to the crowd here at Miami. Perfectly executed win. And, well, she crossed over the line first, which just shows how quick she's been so far. And she was half quick in practice, but you've also got to note here, she started P5. That was a perfect start. And it just so happened that Ella Lloyd just couldn't get that start. Ended up running into the back of another car, which was Palmosky. But Palmosky recovered, and so did Dorian Pan. So that's beautifully done. And also probably driver of the day, Chloe Chambers and Dorian Pan, plus with Emma Felbermeyer making her way up, but then spinning on that final lap there. But not exactly what she needed to start her weekend for Emma Felbermeyer. But taking a look here at what happened with... This is Block and Tina Hausman. So Block actually gained an advantage. So she crossed over that white line on the exit of turn 14 or 13. So, oh, that's Block. So she's... So she's left the track and gained the advantage on Aurelia Nobles. So this is why she actually ended up regaining that position. So she locked up, went wide, and then she gained the advantage by crossing all four wheels over the line there. So she gained an advantage in the end. But Dorian Pan wins. I'll be back a bit later on for the F1. For the F1 qualifying session, we'll be back a bit later on. But Dorian Pan wins in F1 Academy.